You're listening to The Monks. You're here with The Monks. I'm Josh.
I'm Heather.
And thank you so much for being here. Mm-hmm. Heather, are you going to kick off kind of what got us stewing on this one? Or how did you want to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, before I get into that, I wanted to say that we took the dog for a walk before this because they were doing some pressure washing.
Yeah.
On the house next door. So we were like, let's take the dog for a walk. He's getting very anxious that we're shutting him in the kitchen and letting him lay on a bed.
Kitchen.
Do you want to shut it? Shut it real quick.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so stupid. Sorry. ADHD. We're going to talk about that. Affects nothing door. Sorry. That also, well, that's because that's how it's got to be. Otherwise, I'm too loud. That's how it's got to be. Otherwise, I'm too loud. We've established that. Sit up. Sit up. These are all the mechanisms just to fire up the machine. So sit up. Not too close. Sorry. We took the dog.
We took the dog for a walk. We thought he would relax a bit before we put him in the kitchen where he's totally safe and sound. But he
works 100% of the time.
Yeah. So we were on this walk and I ahead of us saw a lady get startled by two tiny Yorkies that were in a little alcove.
Yeah. See, I didn't even see the lady get startled.
Oh.
I don't know where I'm at.
Yeah.
Just looking ahead right past it.
You know, and
Nothing.
So of course I saw that. By the time I walked 2 houses, it was the biggest startle of my life, I think. It scared me so.
It gave that jolt where at first you go, oh, this could be bad. It's so jolted. But then when you're okay, you go, that's probably the best test, right? Like that probably means we're good. Another 10 years
Heart
of fine.
health.
Yeah, that's my like Poughkeepsie Phil or whatever of like heart jolts where I'm like, oh, ain't no way that ain't good for another 10. That's good. Yeah. Spring's coming early.
The dog, our dog is so anxious.
Yeah. Our dog whose name is Joseph Abernathy Monk. Why are you laughing? Because he was already named Joseph and then we just leaned in.
I don't know.
We were just like, all right, jam.
Yeah.
But Joseph, every single time, you know what gets a laugh in this world? Tell somebody your very human dog or like your dog's very human name.
Yes.
Every single time. It could be the worst person in the world. You're like, yeah, my dog's name is Joseph. They're like, Joe, like a human Joseph? Okay. That's pretty good.
It's my grandfather's name.
I'm about to untie this one. I'm about to let this guy go with that. That's funny.
I took him out into the vestibule to put my shoes on and I was like, oh, I forgot something. And I came back in for half a sec and he's like shaking.
Dude,
I won't get to go.
I feel bad for him because he really is like, we're his emotional support animal.
Yes.
We really are.
Oh my gosh.
Like he could never, although you know what the sweetest thing, because this guy is an absolute head case. I would go, hey, I get it. You know, I get it. But when you're sad or something, like if you're crying or, you know, if I'm sad, you know, he does like all great dogs, just come over and lay on you in some way that makes you feel better. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't realize that he caused the stress that led to the, no, but he is a very stressed out, stress-inducing dog.
Oh my gosh. So the episode that we wanted to discuss.
Well, our dog and us being his emotional support animals, I think still goes kind of with the actual,
it really
like,
goes together.
Kind of thoughts and themes today.
We saw the show Group Therapy on Amazon, which is a group therapy session with comedians. I haven't been excited for something when I see it pop up in a while. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I loved it.
I don't know what age we've hit. What are people going to do group therapy? I'm excited.
I think it was the comedy of it. Yeah. I was excited to see comedians talk about comedy.
I was like, I know this is going to be somewhat funny. It was exactly what I thought. I've been around enough comedians where I was like, I know what this is going to be. It's going to start funny. It's going to start jokey. It's going to get deep, dark, or not dark, but deep pretty quick. Mm-hmm. Didn't really get dark, you know, but I have been in enough green rooms where I'm like, no, there'll be jokes for sure, but like it is gonna get real, and it did. It was in all the best ways, though.
Neil Patrick Harris hosted it. Fantastic, love him. He's so adorable.
Yeah, he's Doogie to me.
He's cute.
Always.
Oh, that's why he hosted it.
He's a medical doctor.
Yeah,
and he's been one since he was a kid. That was the whole point.
Did they make that joke?
They they said the joke like he's hosting because he's a medical doctor, but nobody on the nose. I don't even think anybody thought that. Like, he's literally Doogie Howser.
No, I thought I would have thought
I have a sneaking suspicion his career at this point has gone on for so long that I don't know that that's the first that comes to mind. The premise of the show was comedy and its intersection with mental health. Mm-hmm. Like how those two things tend to go hand in hand.
The comedians that were in the round table discussion were Tig Notaro, London Hughes, Nicole Byer, Mike Birbiglia, Atsuko Okatsuka, and Gary Goldman, which just... Gary, I am such a huge Gary Goldman fan.
You've always been. I mean, like we both have. But I remember, earliest time I remember seeing him outside of on like Letterman's and like, you know, when he would come into a spot on like a show, was I remember when Dane Cook was a really big deal. And he went on tour and they did an HBO documentary about the tour. And Gary Goldman was one of his.
Oh, yeah, acts. I do remember that.
And I remember thinking like, man, this guy is really so funny, so smart. And his like workflow was, I was so intimidated by his workflow. Like just his level of like sit down, write till jokes are good. It's so opposite of the way that I am funny that it really shook me up. Like where I was like, wow, okay. But yeah, very, very funny guy.
I love his Trader Joe's story.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was such like precision, beat by beat of just some interaction that you're like, oh my gosh, this is so funny.
That's one of the best. I mean, we're going to say this a million times about a million different aspects of comedy during this because we've been comedy nerds our whole lives. It's a huge part of who we are and why we're doing this and everything. But it's like, is there anything more powerful to me than the ability to take the absolute mundane, and just make it like, I mean, that is like a 5 to 7 minute bit. Like, I want to say it may be his closer for that particular thing.
Probably
it may not be, but it is a very good joke that stands out. And it basically is like, hey, I went to a Trader Joe's and this woman was rude and I took her cereal. You know, that was like her comeuppance. But it's a master class the whole way through. We had just watched
Atsuko's
Father.
Special. Yes.
Tremendous. Tremendous.
She's so funny.
Just so good and so I just love seeing. I'm like, she just knows who she is. Like again, it's intimidatingly good. Like where I'm just like, this is a very well crafted special, and just a performer who really knows like what she's doing, like how she's funny.
Yes,
I think that's incredible.
I love when people know how they are funny.
Yeah. Because going to a night of comedy kind of feels like that. Like, you know, like how comic book. This is the way I view it. Like, you know, sometimes in LA you'd go to a show that would have like 25 comedians, but they're all like on, like John Mulaney is going up, like Carmichael's going up, you know, it's like TV stars are going up like one after the other to do 5 minutes of material. And I go, this is my Avengers. Like this is like me going crazy, or I'm like, you believe this? Like Dave Chappelle may come tonight, they said. Like just the buzz of like, that's my end credit scene. Like just the sizzle that he might show up and just take over for an hour. Like that Chris Rock might pop in. Because sometimes you'd be at shows and they would be there and they wouldn't go up. They're just hanging, you know, they're just in the room or they just decide not to or whatever. And you're like, but you know. And that's whether I was performing or watching or whatever, you know, like there's a lot of times that you're just like, this is rad, man.
When we went to something at the Largo one time and Sarah Silverman she came out ahead of time to practice her roast for somebody I can't even remember.
Yeah. I don't even know who it was.
And I was like,
but just those little moments, like when you're there because I think we may have been there to see like How Did This Get Made or something like that.
Yeah.
And then she just came out and did like just 5 tremendous minutes. Whenever we were watching it and it kind of said like it's, and we saw, obviously you're looking at the synopsis, that's what gets you in, or the trailer or whatever, and you're like, okay, this is comedians like for real doing like kind of a group therapy sesh. Like it's not for, I mean, they even say that they're like, this isn't for comedy. These are working comedians, so obviously it's going to be funny, but it's not what it's for. It is to get into that. I always thought and felt, and kind of true, have been around comedy since I was 19, you know, as far as like performing and stuff, and been around a lot of just every level of comedian, like over the years. And I did always feel like we kind of came like sad or mad. And when I was younger and you're just not as good at regulating and you have a shorter fuse, I was always kind of thankful that I ran in the mad category. I wasn't like the most shaky mad guy in the world, but I saw how heavy it seemed to be for the guys who were sad or the women that were sad. I was like, oh, this seems like a lot. It did seem like more than not that kind of dealing with those things led you to also be very interested in being funny on purpose in front of strangers and to make other people laugh.
What do you think? Why do you think that is?
I would assume, I mean, for me personally, I know that like one of the biggest reasons that I think I became funny was just insecurity. You know, it's like, I think anyone who is funny would like to be good. I always assume we're all the same. Like, I would have loved to have been good at everything. Like, I would have loved to have been like the heartthrob of my schools or the athlete of my schools or the smartest kid or any of those things that you see happen for people. And you're like, that wasn't my thing. I was a pretty good athlete. I did okay with girls. I was, you know, relatively smart, but not the smart. Like, none of this, the only thing I ever stood out at where consistently it was like, oh, you're the funniest person here, you know? And I was like, that works for me.
Yeah.
That's positive. And then you just, as long as I can remember, just that mattered deeply to me to make people laugh. Like, and why people laughed and just all those things.
I think it's fair to say that everyone has struggled with mental health in their life. I think it's kind of part of the human experience.
Yeah.
It's, if you got a brain, it's working, it's doing something to probably self-destruct or tell you what you can't.
Who knows? Maybe you have a great brain and it's like telling you can do everything. And then they go, oh no, you're trying to fly again. That's bad. You know, like no matter what, it's like, I think that, I don't know. Do you kind of feel like your brain giveth and it taketh away? You ever feel like that? I sometimes think like that. Like I see like the little scales and I go, it's more good than bad. But certainly there are days or moments that I go, ooh, boy, this brain, you know? But let me ask you this. Would you ever trade your brain? Like if they said you can jump into somebody at random and then you're there.
I would want, forever? Oh, no, I wouldn't. I already know how to work this one.
Right? It's like
I know
the devil
the shortcuts.
I know. I'm not getting in here and then finding out, like, I already know how to deal with my binge eating. I'm not taking on this person's thing. What are they into? Dusters? Oh, God. Really? Dusters? I don't know. It's lovely.
I don't know. I think I would like to see what someone else's brain was like for a time, just to understand.
That'd be interesting.
Perspectives, but never would want to. Well, I don't want to say never. Maybe when I'm jumping in, searching around, I go,
this is.
This one.
I'd be so bummed because I'm in my 40s. Like I'd be so bummed to jump into somebody's mind, especially like say they're like 20 something, and it's just chill. Like just truly, they're just like. Chill. I don't even know how to describe it. I don't even have I'm like, and then the joke is, what's a normal, what does that look like? Just know, because I often think I'm normal, right? Like, that's like kind of my soothe. I go, everybody feels this way.
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
I think so.
I'd be bummed.
Everybody feels something,
Yeah. And I just think those of us who have like certain brain tickles lead you to certain things. Like, it's like comedy scratches the brain for a lot of people. And for some of us, it scratches it so deeply that we go, I'm probably just going to pursue this for my whole life.
My favorite thing in the world to do is laugh.
Yeah.
I have to.
And you have an infectious laugh.
Oh.
You're like, patient zero of laughter. Like bring you around and get other people laughing. Is there a particular time in your life? Because this is like one of the kind of questions that came up in the show. Is there a particular time in your life that you were like, oh, I realize I am funny, or I realize I want to be funny? Like I'm doing this with intent.
I never thought I was funny. I always thought, oh, all my friends love joking around, and so do I.
Yeah.
I never thought like I'm making them laugh. I always thought, this group of friends likes to laugh. This group,
and you guys called yourselves the itty bitty bitty committee, right? So bad.
Yeah,
it's so
we're
bad.
doing bits.
Yeah. So you just thought, like me and my friends, we just like to joke around.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just kind of really never put that together.
Yeah, I get that. But when we met, like that was one of the things that instantly I was like, oh my God, like she is big into comedy. Like
but you thought I was into comedy, but you didn't think I was funny.
I did. Because
you did?
Yeah. I think instantly, I think everyone, here's the way I reverse engineer. And there are levels to it. And I do think you're funny, like all the way funny, like funny with intent. Like I'm joking around to make other people laugh. But to me, if somebody laughs at everything I know I'm doing that I know is like quick, I go, they have to be funny.
Yeah. I think
because
so.
like there's nothing more infuriating than when you know it's like spot on, like bang, bang. And I grew up in a household like that. Like you threw it up, people got what you were putting down. And so if I throw it up to somebody and they don't catch it like twice, I'm almost done with that person. Like, I mean, that's the bad of it is like, I go, that shouldn't be like, oh, you're not for me, but you are not for me. Like, I just, I don't want to have to explain it. You know, of course, your friends who get you are going to sometimes not get what you're doing. And there's nothing, you'll never be funnier than with your friends, right? Like, were you ever funnier than like, you know, elementary, middle, and high school just goofing?
No.
Right? You're just like, I'm flying as high as I mean, I think you could ask any comedian. They're like, I'll never be as funny as I was at that moment. Like, you're just crushing, dude. You're just absolutely crushing it. And then there's nothing better. See, in that scenario, there's nothing better than when one of your buddies or you throw out a joke and it dies a miserable death. And then you like litigate it.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Like, I'm doing a thing. Like, it's because of that.
Or that becomes what's funny.
Of course.
You know, yeah.
No worse fate than like mispronouncing something. You're like, that's the whole day now.
Yeah.
That can be the rest of your life. You can mess around. That'd be the whole rest of your life. When was the first time that you remember, like, I guess, being funny on purpose?
I couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
No? When you look back, like, what age grouping are you in when you're like cutting up with your friends? When it's the itty bitty committee? Fourth grade? Itty bitties.
Fourth grade on.
Yep.
I can't remember that much from when I was you know, of my personality.
Of anything.
I can remember snippets of my life, but not like who I was. I can remember in the, you know, joking around with my friends at that age.
As long as I can remember, it's just because whenever they ask that, like, oh, do you remember the moment you were funny? I was like, and Gary Goldman had a great moment. He remembered exactly. Like, I'm 5 years old. I'm at, you know, show and tell, and boom, boom, boom. I don't want to take his story and ruin it. Like, watch the show, but it's like he had a great one. And I said, golly, again, I'm like mystified by this guy. I'm like, this guy remembers like that.
Yeah,
you know, but it's probably been in his bag the whole time. And I was like, yeah, that's a great one. I don't have like an exact moment. I just have any time I roll the tape back. It was with intention. It was making people laugh. It was my currency. And I know it stems from a place of like insecurity. And I always really wanted like approval and popularity and certain things. And that was like how I got it, you know, and I remember being very open with myself about like that was just a part of me. Like, this is what I want. I want people's attention. And this is how I get it. I came from a funny household. And I remember like working myself up the internal monk pecking order. Like, I remember being, and here's how much it mattered. I can remember being 12-ish and consistently being funny enough that I could tell it annoyed my dad. Then he was like, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe shut up for a second. Let the rest of, I got a story. I've been out in the workforce. I got a story that might just, I think it's not resonating with people who don't work, maybe. Because it killed today at work. All right? Just calm down over there. Stop. Stop. I don't need to see you play the clumps again. That's hack. First off, that's not your bit, okay? He's doing it voices. That ain't, by itself, shouldn't be enough.
Oh, yeah. That's so funny that you can remember that. And you've said that before, and I love that.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I wish your mom was like my mom when it came to this. Because whenever we told my mom that we were doing this episode, she goes, I remember, like, Josh, I think you were 8. And she was trying to tell me the joke. And she said it was like the first time that she was like, oh, he's funny on purpose. That made an adult laugh. And I go, that's what I remember the whole time. Like, I remember my peers were a given. And I was like, I want to make these teachers cut up.
Yeah.
I want to make grown-ups laugh. What did it for you? Like when you're like elementary school, what kind of stuff are you doing at that point?
I can't remember. What kind of question is that? Like,
I mean, like, what are you into comedy wise? Like, what's getting you going?
4th and 5th grade? I don't remember. I mean, I always like I watched Pee-wee's Playhouse when I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah.
I remember I saw Spaceballs pretty young on repeat. I watched it a bunch of times. My parents would tape stuff off of HBO and then I would watch it.
Yeah.
But you
made me watch Spaceball. Not made me, but like I had not seen Spaceball. That wasn't one that was in my house.
This ship is exploding.
Yeah.
And he goes to, I think, find the button to stop it or something. And it has an out of order tag. And he says, even in the future, nothing works. And I, even at so young, thought, that's hilarious.
You've said that throughout life. Like when things, like when something doesn't work, that's like your joke. And it gets like, I think I love those things that you go, I kind of have stashed that away. And in real life, I'll break it out. Like I mentioned in another episode, we talk about like camping and stuff like that. And we call it something with the great outdoors. And I said, we were talking about the movie and I was like, I throughout life have kind of like whenever something just that curveball moment comes up for a thing, I go, well, of course they're going to make you eat the gristle.
Yes.
You know, it just helps. And I love that kind of stuff where you're just like, oh, it's a joke. It made me laugh, but it somehow has registered in a way that now like brings me relief like 25, 30 years after I saw this. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's why we've always been compelled to like create stuff is because you go, even if one person saw anything we ever did and it was that for them, I'd be like, that's worth it to me. You know, I don't need much. I really don't. I just like, I think the thing that comes with being famous from it is you get to know that it resonated. You know, you get to hear that, somebody comes up to you and tells you that. The rest of us are like, that probably happened, right? Somebody probably liked it.
Somebody liked what I said.
Yeah. Whenever I think back to being young, there's certain snapshot moments that I go, yeah, that was like it wasn't, I don't remember a joke I told per se. But I remember hearing from, it's like certain things, when you're a little kid, like I was probably like 8 or 9 and you just hear, and my dad's like 6'4", he's like a bear of a guy and he is booming through the wall, like just dying laughing. And so, when you're a little kid and you're supposed to be in bed, you'll crawl out in like the hall or whatever, try to get an eye line on the TV or whatever. And I'm watching him mostly is what I can see. And he is dying. And then I can kind of see the screen and it's Eddie Murphy Raw. And I just remember like, oh man, I was like probably 9 or 10, I think, because it was so crystal clear to me where I was like, wait a minute. This guy is like a rock star because they're paying into the crowd and it is like a stadium and they're going nuts for this guy. My dad's going crazy for him. And I was like, this guy doesn't play an instrument. He's not. I'd seen musicians and stuff.
Yeah.
It's that level of like, and I was like, he's just talking. I can talk. I make people laugh all the time. It really like, sometimes I think back and I go, maybe it would have been better just to stay in my room. You know what I mean? You just chasing it my whole life. Like, and now it's so weird. I really, have you ever felt that way? Like in the pursuit of creative stuff, have you ever thought like, oh God, I would do anything to just be somebody who's like, okay, not truly okay. Not like the moments where you put it down and you go, I can't, and then you end up picking it back up. But like, have you ever had that thought as somebody who is a creative person and makes stuff?
I think I can channel my creativity a little bit better than you can because I think mine is broader in terms of things that fill that for me. I feel like laughing is really what fills it for you. Yeah. For me, it's just being creative. It's not having people laugh at what I say. Yeah.
So, and I do feel it. I mean, I fill that thing up too much. Like I heard Gary Shandling, I can't remember if I saw it, if I read it in a book, but it was a Gary Shandling quote. And it was basically just like, oh, he stopped talking. Like if he had a joke or an idea of a funny story or whatever, he stopped talking to people about the thing on the phone or with his buddies because he's like, yeah, whatever that is, that mental orgasm that I got from that laugh, it was no different than if I was telling it to Johnny Carson on the Tonight Show. So my career is suffering. And I look back on moments in my own life where like the work output wasn't high enough. And I go, I definitely suffer from that because I mean, for whatever reason, the high I get if it's crushing out just somebody in a circle, holding court, or an actual show, I'm like, it feels about the same to me.
That's
it's insane.
But I guess that's how it is, just being creative for me, working when we had a house, working on the house and things like that, or
making a movie, like it's all the same to you.
It feels the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just like doing.
That's why I love this. I go, this is really like, it's great. It allows you to have an idea and like put it to work fast. And you don't need permission. I feel like a lot of stuff that you pursue in the arts, it's weird because you think like comedy and you go, oh, that's going to be like free spirit and and it's a lot. It is, but it's also a lot of like asking for permission. It's like, oh, can I do this show at your club? Can I perform there? Will you watch the thing?
Yeah. And you don't want to call you out, but you really will not go more than like 2 late nights. You will say, I don't want to do that anymore. How do I work around that? I don't want to.
It is tough. Like when I was younger and I did stand up, because I started when I was like 19. So I would sit there all night. I'd do the thing, it was all good. And I moved quick. Like, I was in Florida. I wasn't like in New York or LA starting. But like I took for granted, you don't know until you look back, and I go, oh, I absolutely took for granted that a real working comedian saw my little open mic set and was like, hey, why don't you come back this weekend and do 10? You got 10? And luckily too, that youth stupidity, like even though I was very much in my head even at that age, but when somebody asked, do you got whatever amount of time, I was always like, yep. What are they going to do? Arrest me? Yeah. Like, I was like, it's my bomb. Like, it ain't your bomb. Like, what's your worst case? You put together a bad show. I am the one who has to suffer the bomb. So I was always like, yeah, I'll figure it out. And then that actually, for the ADHD, going back to like the intersection, nothing lights a fire under somebody with ADHD more than like a real deadline.
Actually, I really kind of think this is good for a perpetual, like, short deadline, because I'm trying to put a clip out a day.
Yeah.
Of it.
You are putting a clip. Yeah, not even trying. You are putting a clip out a day.
And on Tuesday, I need to know what the next episode for the next week is, because I'm going to put the clip for that episode. So I feel like it is keeping both of us like,
It really is, because I remember on Ologies, which is another great podcast. Yeah. Not like this one, another great podcast. It's a great podcast. But one of her guests, when they were talking about ADHD and just like giving yourself grace and how to get, kind of the systems to where they work for you and kind of figuring that stuff out. But they were like, you have to realize that what you want and what you need are not always going to align. And that stuck with me. It really did. Because my whole life has been me going, I don't want to do that. I have no interest in doing that.
Yes.
I want that. Like, whenever, like, you want to do the show tonight, Josh? I'm like, I want to do the show. Like, whenever people would ask me to do the show, in my head, I'd always first envision the show. Yeah. My part of it. And I go, absolutely, I want to do that. And then I'd have to get through the part where I go, you're going to be at a show like for 2.5 hours. Like, your part may be 5 to 10 minutes or 20 or whatever it is, but you're going to be there all night. Like, and it wasn't because I didn't want to see other comedians. Because again, the second I get there, I'm like, oh, I love watching people do comedy.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't care if it's good or bad most of the time. I mean, I want it to be good. Let's not kid ourselves. But, sometimes watching somebody eat it is fun. You're like, oh, they died.
Yes. Oh, I don't like. I do not like watching people do bad at comedy. I feel like I just feel all of their emotions.
I think that might be the doers versus the people who don't do stand up. Like you do comedy obviously, but you don't do stand up. I think there's some weird camaraderie of like, yeah, die. Just die up there already. Like, if somebody never died, I'd be like, I can't root for this person. You know what I mean? I can't trust this person.
Yeah.
They don't got paperwork. What are you talking about? I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, you've never died. Like, it's crazy. It's like somebody telling you that they've only ever won fights they've been in. You're like, you ain't never been in a fight then. What are you talking about? Yeah. Like, you ain't never done stand up. Everybody dies. That's part of it. If you haven't died, I guess then maybe you just are too safe would be my thing. Like, and that doesn't mean go do shocking material. Those are things you learn. What are things that you think, like, in your, kind of life that comedically or mental health, like the moments that you've seen yourself, like, figure out who you are and kind of make those strides, or like I hate to say growth. It's such a cheeseball term, but I feel like comedically we grow, and I feel like it does run that parallel of like if you're working on yourself, if you're trying, you also kind of grow mental health wise.
I don't know.
No, you don't have. You think the stuff that made you laugh in 4th grade?
I think that would still make me laugh.
Well, I guess what are things that maybe make you laugh now that maybe wouldn't have
I
made you
think
laugh
I
in
do
4th
have a
grade?
broader sense of comedy.
Yeah.
Probably now. But I think I've always liked a variety, a varied, I do think I laugh easy.
You do. You have a great, I mean, you really, when I say you have a great laugh, it's not just because you have a great laugh. It's because you really are generous with your laughter.
Thank you. I am, but I also do feel like if it's funny, why wouldn't I laugh? I don't know,
Well, I often think, and this isn't me being like an a-hole. You've said to me, do you not think that's funny? I go, I think it's incredibly funny. I think because my wheels are turning in a slightly different way. Like sometimes sometimes it gets me. Absolutely gets me. And sometimes it absolutely gets me, but I'm like almost watching the magic of it. Like where I'm like, oh man, like and that, and they got to that. Oh my God, that's so good. And so it may, sometimes I'll just watch almost in a stupor, and I'll walk away and go, that was like a flawless special.
I do love watching a stand-up special.
Yeah.
And then rewatching it with you or somebody else, anybody. I love seeing
what gets
them versus what got me the most, or if they didn't think something was as funny as I did. I don't know. It's just really, I like to
tee it up. You set your parents on it, and then they just go, oh, that's cute. And you go, okay, I don't think that person, okay. That's cute. Every once in a while, my mom loves stand-up. Every once in a while, though, you go too far for old Robin. You know what I mean? Like, I forget what it was, a comedian we showed her, and it was just too far. It was a bridge too far for her. She just was not not into it.
Do you think your sense of humor has grown?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what it was when I was younger, I was so focused on what I wanted to be. Like, it was so funny. Like from the moment that I realized stand-up was a thing, I was just obsessed with it. So I'm watching everything. And it's so weird because I really thought of everything as stand-up in a way, because even when I would see SNL or people in comedies, I would always think stand-up led to that. It is the first trunk of the tree, and then those are branches. Even though some people, that's not really
I don't think that's the case.
Their deal. Like, Chris Farley wasn't a stand-up.
Right.
But it just was so lodged in my brain that that's what got you on a sitcom. That's what got you these opportunities. But I would just watch people in a way that, like, I'd be dying, but I'd always be like, can I do that? It was always through the lens of like, can I do that? Is that how I do that? How do I do that? You know? So if something was way outside of my comfort zone, or just way outside of how I like to be funny, I was almost like kind of a little a-hole about it. Like prop comedy. Like, my mom was like, you hated prop comedy. Like, if somebody had a prop, I remember my sister loved Gallagher. She got in the wet zone. She's got the rain slick on. She's like, we're going to Gallagher.
Did she put goggles?
Oh man, she's having a ball. And I didn't go. Not that she invited me. I wasn't invited. Little kid. She's like 9 years older than me. But I just remember like being like such a snob about it. I was like, oh, okay, the guy who breaks watermelon. She's like, shut up. It's fun. It's like an event. And she's right. It was like an event. I still don't want fruit smashed on me. I don't get it still. That one I still don't get. And you know the Gallagher story, right?
He had a twin brother,
like an evil twin,
stole his identity.
I think it almost came to murder or attempted murder.
Oh no,
it was crazy. I was like, make this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Make this movie. Put somebody in this movie. I can't think who would play a Gallagher. Like, not to sidebar, but who do you think would play a good Gallagher? Ooh, Pedro Pascal.
Okay.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could actually see that. Got to get him husky though.
I was gonna say Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore could do it.
Yeah.
Pauly Shore, like, again, not to branch too far off, but we've talked about this before. I have a very soft spot for Pauly Shore.
Absolutely. I loved his movies.
Yeah. And I think more than not, when you watch his stuff, it comes from a place of like kind of a kind-heartedness to it. Like when you watch Son-in-Law, like, he could be from the city and go dunk on these country folk. He doesn't. He just has a good time. So much so, we recently rewatched Son-in-Law, and I said, we got to be more like this character, man. It's not fun, but he's having fun. Like, he's going to find the fun.
He's enjoying life. Yeah.
I think that for whatever reason, certain people, we just decide like, you've flown too close to the sun, time to clip your wings.
Yeah, I do think as you age, you have less and less fun, or you feel that I don't know if that you have less and less fun, or you feel that you can't have as much fun.
Yeah.
Everything is errands. Everything is always, and it is a bit of a weight. You have to really try to like.
I think that's one thing that you and I like. We make a point of focus in our life, like, is we're like, you gotta just.
We have our life has been a roller coaster, but I never think back on anything and go, oh, remember that? Like I don't have any bad memories.
No, I'm like a dog in that way. I really am. I think like you and I, the joke we always say about ourselves, because we have had such ups and downs, is that we're little cockroaches. Like, you know what I mean? But I also do think that we kind of have a dog mentality, and not like when sports, when they're like, he's a dog, but I just mean like where I'm like, oh, kind of short memory. Like you're right. I'm not going to look back on 5 years ago, whatever, like chunks of my life and think about the bad part. I'm going to think about all the amazing parts that happened around those parts. Like everybody's going to have stuff. And some stuff I get like, but I'm like, for us, we've been lucky enough where I'm like, we don't have anything that's like so life altering that there's any good reason why you wouldn't just go, let's have a good time. One thing that I always think for us is I go, we'll find some fun. Put me anywhere. I remember I said that to somebody I worked with once. I was like, you put me anywhere on the earth, I'm going to be me, probably Monday to Sunday. And
that's
they were
good.
like, yeah, that's true. Like, I was like, I'm going to do what I like to do wherever I am as best I can.
Yeah. You know what that makes me think of when our friend Mario once said, like, if the monks don't want to do it, the monks aren't going to do it. The monks are going to do what the monks want to do.
Yeah. And I don't know that it was said in a positive way. I don't know that. But I think it was. I think it was. I think because one of the biggest compliments I give to Mario is I go, he knows who he is. It's admirable to know who you are, be who you are all the time. I always said like, oh, you could introduce him to the Queen of England. Like he's not going to be a different person. Like he is himself. He's very aware of who he is. And I think us individually and us as a couple, we're like, we know what we like, we know what we don't like, and we're pretty open about that.
Yeah.
And the thing, I think it's because we're both like, hey, if you want to do that thing and we don't want to do it, by all means do it. We'll see you in an hour or two.
I'd love to go on vacations with friends and then just meet for dinner. Or if we want to do something that's the same, do that. But also,
have the freedom to be like, guys, we're not, we don't need to be tethered.
We're just in the same, we're exploring the same city in different ways, possibly, or the same way.
And then come together and chat it up. I'd love to hear what you got into, because we can't do it all. You know what I mean? If you go and do a European vacation, if you're lucky enough to do that with a group of friends or something, it's like you're not going to all get to see everything. So it'd be cool to data dump like some cool stuff. Yeah. And know, okay, that might actually be worth going to check out, stuff like that.
How did you develop your sense of humor?
Like I said, I definitely know that it started with a little bit of insecurity. So it really was kind of twofold. It was like peers, like school, boom, 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 every day. Like I went to a school where like it was very popular. Like one of the biggest pastimes at recess was doing the dozens, like which was basically just yo mama jokes, and the like just absolutely roasting each other. And I was very good at it. Like I think so that was one of the things I developed over time, was like thinking on your feet, being quick, because it killed. You know what I mean? Like I didn't prepare stuff. And the kids who did, the people who showed up with like 2 jokes that they stole from In Living Color or something like that, we would eat them up. You'd absolutely demolish them, because after that they panic.
That's why I thought you would like improv. When we moved to LA, I got you improv classes, and then
it was one of the best gifts ever. I mean, truly, like I know improv has. It has detractors, and it's not true. Like, you know what I mean? I think everybody in improv is like, yeah, it's kind of culty. It's kind of weird. It's like a comedy cult at times. But it was so fun. And it definitely taught me different things and made me be different comedically. I actually feel like one of the reasons I got more comfortable with silence on stage was because of improv, because it allowed you to be on a stage and take in an audience, but not have it all be you. Stand up from the moment I started, as everybody does, the light's on you, and you just, you feel compelled. You got to get the response you came there to get. You know what I mean? I would just machine gun. That was one of the things that London Hughes said in the group therapy when she's talking about her brand of comedy. And she's like, I'm like a machine gun. I don't want to let them breathe. And she talked about Tig Notaro, how she's very like deadpan and methodical in her delivery.
And very slow.
And she's like, you drink the water. I've never taken a drink of water. And I remember thinking like the first 3 months I did stand up, I didn't take the mic out of the stand. I hit that stage. I started jokes. Like, you know, I was like, I'm not wasting 30 seconds of getting a mic out of the stand on a 5-minute set.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got a ba 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 ba. You know, I remember like very little of those sets. It was just, we got to go. What about you? Like, what made you, like, what helped you develop your comedy? Because you very much understand comedy.
TV and movies. Yeah, for sure. I would watch and rewatch, and I love cinema. Yeah. I'm such a nerd for it.
It's like you and Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman just at AMC all like, I just love cinema. I just love cinema, y'all.
But you know what? I don't want to be labeled like a cinephile because I really don't. I like straight up made for popcorn flick style. Yeah. Like, this is a rom-com. This is a comedy. This is a action. Movies.
You're not kidding around when you wear your basic hood or your basic sweatshirt. Yeah. You're like, I proudly am basic.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. I am proudly basic. Do I have some things and do you have some things that are elevated? Sure, everybody does. I don't know why being basic is bad. Like, you talk about, we watch Independence Day, right?
Yeah.
We rewatched it. Slaps.
Love it.
Slaps. I remember in LA, people, you know, doing the thing, you know, you're standing out in front of a show. There's a lot of times standing out in front of shows, after shows, before show, whatever. And of course, it's LA. Everybody is there. Everybody's trying to make stuff, you know, and it would go around, what's your favorite movie? And you'd have the cinephiles who would come up and just like with a straight face go, Orson Welles.
Is it?
And I go, I'm sorry, not Orson Welles, Citizen Kane.
I don't think it is.
And I go, really? And they go, what's yours? And I go, Con Air.
Oh, man.
Tell me a part of that movie that it didn't do. See the trailer, Convicts in the Air. I'm getting that the whole time. I'm like, that thing is, but these are Tony Award winning, Oscar winning, Golden Globe winning actors being convicts in the air. How is that? I'm like, yeah, Citizen Kane has its place in filmmaking techniques and things like that. And I'm sure it was the best movie of that time. But if you're going to tell me that that's better than Roadhouse, what are you on?
Yeah.
What are you on about? Orson Welles would have absolutely been like, fantastic, Roadhouse, double deuce.
That's neither one of those are comedies. Do you think you have a favorite comedy movie?
It changes. Don't you feel like, I mean, you have the ones that you go like, oh, that just makes me feel good. But I feel like that changes. Like comedy intentionally has the shortest shelf life. It has the least amount of preservatives in it. It is there to age like milk. Some people go, oh, that aged badly. And I go, that aged exactly how comedy is supposed to age, because you're supposed to be as surprising as you can be. One of the notes that I made for myself recently when you talk about like growing in comedy was I was like, don't try to be shocking. Because when you're young, you really try to be shocking. You almost can't help but like, I said a bad word, I did a thing, you know, because it elicits a response at least, you know, so you feel like you have some semblance of control. And really, I'm like, when you're doing this thing well, it's like, just be surprising. Like, oh, I didn't think that was the punchline they were going to do. It doesn't have to be horrible, you know, it can just be that. But I think because comedy is typically shocking, and maybe at best surprising, it's like, yeah, 10 years later, it's not going to be that shocking or that surprising. Or it'll be too shocking. Yeah. Some of the stuff you go,
I think the comedy that ages the best is comedy that is so drenched in just like a tiny little real life situation that it will forever be.
Yeah. Seinfeld.
I think of this, it's a newer movie with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and her husband are both licking an ice cream cone. They're sharing it, and their teenage son is
it called You Hurt My Feelings?
Yes, that's what it called. Yeah. And they're just sharing this ice cream cone, and their son's disgusted by it. He's like a teen. Yeah. And it made me laugh so hard because it's just such a tiny little like it's just somebody in real life did that with their spouse and their kid was disgusted. And it made me laugh because we would do that.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
And here's what's funny. You and I would do that. We don't have kids, but imagine what you would have thought if your mom and dad shared. You would have been like, what? Why?
Why the cone?
Yeah. Why? This is too, yeah. If you're going to do a cone, just do cones. Like, it's crazy to do it like that.
I
get spoons.
I do think those moments in comedy can last forever.
Yeah.
I don't think those ones age, but I do think that certain comedies.
Of course. I don't even view them badly. Like whenever they go, I go, listen, comedy is every type of comedy, in my opinion, is telling you something about where society was at that time. Right? I mean, it's pushing. It's always at a boundary of that time. But it's like, it's going to tell you where you kind of were and where the line was at that time. And some of these lines, and rightfully so, have moved back. Like, where you're like, that isn't correct what we were doing at that time.
When you were younger, when you were in your formative years, developing your sense of humor, well, I don't know why I'm asking you, so I'll tell you mine.
Yeah.
Comedy Central was such a huge part of my life. I'm sad that it's not. I don't think it's the same as it was. No. But I would watch. They put so many stand-up specials. I would watch every single one. I would watch Comedy Central.
And we were like of an age where like Comedy Central wasn't a thing, and then it was, and it. Like, you're right. Like, I remember watching like Kids in the Hall with my buddy AJ, and I'd never seen Kids in the Hall. I was an SNL guy.
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, I really like it. It's weirder and it's pre-taped, but it's like, it's sketches and stuff." And I instantly was obsessed. We would watch the UCB one too. Upright Citizens Brigade had a short-lived sketch show. And I remember there was a sketch on there, and it just kills me. And in it, basically, the guy's talking about like how he's on like a golf course. And he goes, yeah, the thing is like, the reason I'm so confident is I stuff pennies up my butt. And then I spin those pennies around town. So anybody I meet with, I know they've handled my butt pennies. We were dying. We thought it was I said, that's such good logic. Like it killed me. And those were those kind of sketches. That's the other thing I liked is like you'd start to, it was like bands. Like SNL had this tonality and this thing, and then they had this, and Kids in the Hall always kind of had, like, for lack of a better term, kind of like a queer energy to it. Like there was a lot of cross dress and stuff, and they were always playing women and stuff. And I was like, yeah, this is sick. Like I really dig seeing these differences. Because when I was very little, like who did you like kind of that like 6th grade through high school? Like what was like really getting you at that time? I know you were a big SNL person.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Liza and I would tape SNL and rewatch it and rewatch it and rewatch it and rewatch.
That's fantastic.
Loved that. So I guess SNL, yeah. For my 16th birthday, I went to see Superstar, and for my 18th birthday, I saw Zoolander. I remember thinking, oh, I'm so lucky they dropped these kind of movies in October.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, yes, I am excited. I love Molly Shannon. Like,
oh yeah.
Love.
And I feel like people finally get how good she is. Like, and not that they didn't then, but I was like, she's tremendous. And also a tremendous dramatic actor. Which is a whole nother thing we can talk about another time when we're discussing comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Because I always think it's funny that, like, you want to put comedic people over here, and I go, they do the best. Like, I remember having this argument with somebody, and I don't want to get into it because I do feel like we could talk about this another time, but I remember going, you really think Daniel Day-Lewis could do Talladega Nights?
Yeah.
But you really don't think that, like, Steve Carell could do something that Daniel Day-Lewis has done? Because I don't think Daniel Day-Lewis could do anything that Steve Carell has done and have it elicit the response it should. I don't mean that he wouldn't show up prepared and say the lines, but I do think Steve Carell could get somewhere.
Well, there is an instinct when you are a comedic actor that, and maybe you have it as a non-comedic actor, but I feel like it's a thing that you've honed so much that you're better at it.
Oh, sidebar, while we're talking about comedy, who's a dramatic or an actor that I feel like is not known for comedy per se, or actress, I don't know why I keep saying actor, or actress, that you go, oh man, they're really funny though. Like, and I don't even care if you just saw them in an interview, but I mean, sometimes I go, oh, this person's like funny.
I think a lot of people, I am surprised how funny they are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of who I didn't know their personality until maybe Kate Winslet. I think she's pretty funny.
Right? Yeah. She's actually like kind of feels like almost like potty mouth English fun. I was like, yeah, she's really funny. Mm-hmm. It makes sense too. It has that extra level of charisma to it.
I think a lot of actresses are funnier than actors.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times just because we're louder a lot, the boys, and I think times have changed on that, like where it's like, yeah, you know, I've been around tremendously funny women all my life, but I'm like, yeah, we tend to be louder as dudes. That doesn't mean we're funnier. It just means we take up more space. Like even in this conversation, I talk 2 to 1 at least.
I don't think this one, but
not
sometimes.
this one, but I do. I mean, I talk more.
I mean, you do. You talk more than I do in regular life, so it is kind of
it's not like a premeditated thing. Like
I know.
Like, she's gonna overtake me. But there is probably that part of my broken brain still that's like, I'd like to say the funniest in the household if at all possible.
Oh well, you will.
Hopefully. I don't know.
Oh, no.
You're very funny.
Coming for your title.
Mine is, off the top of my head, Ryan Gosling always strikes me where I go, he's not a comedic actor person, but the guy is very funny. Yeah. In interviews, he's funny when you are trying to be funny with him. He kills on SNL. Like, I'm like, yeah, this dude's funny, man. I think he's a guy that if you met him, you'd be like, yeah, he has a good sense of humor.
Absolutely, yeah.
The funniest people, like talking about like kind of running hot or cold, you know how I said comedians, I go, some of the best people I know in both comedy, but just as people, were very depressed. Like, you know, because there's something about that constant sadness that they're working through and trying to get from under that makes them so attuned to like, are you okay? And as somebody who ran a little bit more spicy, I was always just kind of mean to myself.
Yeah.
You know,
I would say I'm the same.
Yeah. Just kind of self, you know.
And a little angry. You know what my anger comes from? I feel I'm really trying to work on like not feeling rushed. I don't know what it's from. It's nothing. I have no time constraints. Yeah, that's true. And I'm still always like, I gotta, you know, I'm like trying to get, just slow down, chill out, be relaxed.
You've gotten so much better at that. I get
less angry.
You've gotten so much better at that.
Yeah.
Sitting in a space was hard for you. You do a lot better. I mean, I think it's glacial for all of us. You know what I mean? Like these people, like I love nothing more than when a friend's like, we did a thing. We're new. We are new. And I go, okay.
I can't even recognize myself.
Right. I look in the mirror and I'm just like startled. I thought it was a window outside. Who is this person? Because the amount of people who have told me that I've known for a stretch of time, like, you got to try psychedelics. It's going to open every cupboard in the kitchen and it's just going to make you a new person. I'm like, and you have done this. And they go, yeah, I'm completely different. I go, to who? To who? What you talking about? To who? You? You must still be in there. You must be still looking in the cupboards because it seems like you're bringing the same soup that you've been bringing to a boy. I love you, but a completely different person. Come on. I don't think so. I don't think any ayahuasca is going to just absolutely, you know, change a person. Like, I was an a-hole, but then I got really high and crapped my pants out. And now I am an a-hole who has that story.
Luckily, we've been able to grow together. We've been together a very long time. And we've grown pretty much, I feel like, at the same pace. Because, you know, we've helped each other grow and push and pull in that.
That's another layer, too. Is like, you know, you pick your partner and I think you're right. I think for the most part, we have grown, you know, in similar ways, in similar like spaces of time. But I do think like that's one thing whenever people, because we've been married, like it'll be 20 years in January. And inevitably when people hear that, they go, but you're so young, but you're babies.
But you're babies.
Yeah, you're just but baby. You barely even have fine lines. How do you do it? And after they get over that, they go, you know, they have quite, they're like, what? Yeah. Like, crank it up like a little tuna fish can. Pick your jaw. But they'll say like, what, got any tips? And one of the things I say is I'm like, you have to know first and foremost that you're still like like you're your own person, they're their own person. And it doesn't mean that it's always going to be exactly the same things going on for you. You know what I mean? Like you have to try to really like be cool to each other. I mean, like for lack of a better term, like
give each other grace.
Yeah, you really do have to try to be cool.
If you know this person's heart, their intentions or whatever, give them grace. If it's something you feel, bring it up later.
And we're lunatics. Like we are lunatics in the fact that like we have been together since we met, basically. Like, you know what I mean? Like we met, we talked all night, talked comedy all night, laughed our heads off all night. And have basically been inseparable since we were 19 years old. And I realize how nuts that is.
I know. And you know, to bring back how important Comedy Central was to me in my personal life.
Yeah.
It's the reason that I feel like it was kind of the spark of our first conversation of why we were like, it was like we were a Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, we were just talking about Nick Swartzen's stand-up special that was on Comedy Central, like beat for beat. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this girl loves comedy. Like, you know what I mean? Like she get like, not only did you get, but you were just so like, you were like me. Like we're just like,
I remember the joke was you said something about something being heavy and I was like this milk, Grandma? You know, and you were like, what?
Yeah,
and I was like,
absolutely. Yeah. And then we have been together that whole time. And that whole time we have like made stuff together. It's like adding layers to a thing that is already difficult. It's difficult to collaborate with people creatively. It's difficult to be married sometimes. It's, you know what I mean? Like all these things have their own challenges and we're like, stack them up, stack them up. And I'm sure like everybody has, if you're not doing creative stuff, you probably have children or you have a business together or something or all of the above, or you're creative, own a business and have children. My God, how do you do it? How do you do it?
I couldn't.
But I think the key is exactly what you said. Like, it's like, you got to give them space. I feel like when
I said grace.
Oh, I'm out of here. I was just going to leave. Oh boy. I feel like I'm gonna have to be present to give grace. I'm sorry. I thought we were giving space. I was going to get a pied-à-terre in the city. But yeah, I do think like that's part of it. I think that's the same thing you have to give yourself to be creative. Because one of the things they brought up in that show is they were like, inherently, if you're going to perform or make something, it is such a vulnerable thing. I mean, we went through it when we were talking out this episode. I was like, I feel genuinely uncomfortable because instantly the days in my head start going, but you haven't like made it. Like, how dare you have an episode about making stuff? Like these people know you aren't anything. And then I was like, whoa, that's pretty mean.
Yeah.
Because anybody else that I know that is creative but not famous, I'm like, you definitely are a comedian. You definitely are a filmmaker. You definitely are a composer or whatever. You definitely are a carpenter. Like, whatever your deal is, if you do it, you are it. Like, I would say that to somebody with so much conviction for them. And for myself, I'm like, but you're nobody. You're never going to be nobody.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Even if you, no, I mean, in a good way.
That's all right. What? It's okay. You'll be a nobody. I know what you're saying. I already am somebody. You already are somebody.
I just kind of think that we just have to find our people.
Yeah. Cultivate an audience of people who, because our biggest mission with this whole thing is what? I mean, we said it like from the moment we were like, hey, are we going to do a podcast? And you said, I want it to be, I'll let you say it because it was like you're kind of like, you gave us like the why of like why we're doing this.
I'm absolutely drawing a blank on what you're
like, I just want to give people a 1 hour or so.
Oh, yeah. What it is to me. Yes.
Right. But
sorry.
You're like what
yes.
you hope it is for them. Like,
for me, this podcast is a designated time for me and you to get to joke around with each other.
Yeah.
And it's a break from reality of the world and it's shooting my endorphins up. And I just hope that's, if anybody's watching, I hope that's what they get as well.
Right.
Just this bright spot in their week.
Yeah.
It's a bright spot in mine.
Just want to give you one quick off-ramp rest area on the highway we all know what's going on. You know what I mean? It's challenging. Like, it is, man. Like, we just want to give you that cool spot that you can pull the car over for a second and just kind of go like, okay, there's still fun to be had. There's still, because that's really all I think we can offer. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, the truest thing that we can offer is like, yeah, we're just like you. It's funny. Like, it is what it is. Like, here's what I can offer. I got flipped off by what appeared to be a teenager this week. And it absolutely infuriated and crushed me. Like, it really did. I was correct. It was my go. I stopped. You could have went. And then I got the most haphazard middle finger. If you're going to flip me off, you got to flip me off like Eminem. I grew up watching Eminem. I need a hard, stiff middle finger if you're going to flip me off. Don't give me some like, should I? Am I? Am I doing this? And the other one stopped and that one's half. Flip me off if you're going to flip me off. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I was dumbfounded. I was like, for what?
For so long.
It flipped me off for what seemed like, it was like a sloth flipping me off.
I meant how long you were upset about it.
Oh, I was upset for ages. I was upset for ages. I was like, I've done nothing wrong. I'm a hero in this story. Letting you in. It was my go. Oh, I was like, ay.
I had a rage moment as well when we went to California Fish Grill. Yeah. And we walked in and the two people that were standing in line, they went up to the order yourself checkout thing.
Which is supposed to be quicker.
It's supposed to be quicker, but there was no one there to take anybody's order. So they both took up the two that were there. Yeah. And it was a group of 3 people and a lady by herself. We waited 20 minutes.
Yep. I went and got a table.
Yeah.
That's a modern man for you. I said, I'm going to go sit down. You got this? Okay.
I waited another 10 minutes and every part of my body was wanting to scream. I was bubbling over going, someone take my order. I know what I want.
You choked it down. You said, no.
And another 10 minutes.
Not my Mayflower ancestors like, pardon me, New America. The other one had cobblestones already? Is this dirt?
And it was another like 10 minutes. You're sitting down and the group of 3 go over to the board that I'm standing by that tells you what fish is.
It is purely decorative. Dude.
So they're trying to figure out what the place they're even at is 30 minutes in.
It's like a video game for them. They're using context clues around them. They're like, oh, wow, okay, all right, this is a fish restaurant. Tap everything. See if there's any bonus points.
The lady on the other ones then gets on the phone to get an order from someone. I'm like, yeah. And then a kid comes out and takes my order. And I just real quick, I was done before them.
Yeah, you were. You absolutely
Crazy.
were. It's one of those things I could see you too. And what was funny was I'm seeing you and I go, she's going to keep it together. She's going to like kind of be like,
I'm going to do a lot of head to use.
And there was another 4 U's back. Like 4 people back. And she just saw it. And it's almost like it soothed her. She was like, okay, all right, we're not going to do it. We're not that. But it's, we're like, why don't they know what fish is? Like, how you at a fish restaurant? But I was like, well, but as someone who grew up in a household that didn't go to restaurants much, I go, sometimes it's your first time. Like, sometimes you really are like, I've never had a branzino. I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
What is that? I was landlocked, guys. What is a branzino? I don't know. I didn't grow up doing tapas. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I have one where I was at another fast casual place, like, of course, because Monday through Friday, what am I going to go sit down at a restaurant? Who's got the time? Go fast cash, right? Mm-hmm. And I say fast cash. I don't ever do fast food, but fast casual. I get to be my own little CEO, right? I'm building that burrito. I get to do the hiring and the firing. I go, oh, that guy's good. More. Thank you. But the guy in front of me goes up, and this may be the most lazy. I was like, I'm about to go do nothing but internally rage. But he just goes, they go, oh, hey, can we help you out? And he goes, hold on. All right. Hey, you gotta go. Where'd she go? She walked away from the phone? You gotta go. Mushroom chicken. What do you want? Mushroom chicken's looking good.
Are they even there?
No one's at the phone. They go, sir, I don't think anyone's there. He goes, she's there. She's there. Hello? Oh, welcome back. Everyone's waiting. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, the mushroom chicken looks good, we were saying. Like, she orders, like, and I go, this is like, it's the best rude version of this, I guess, like, because they were delightful, but like, I was like, you got to step to the side, I think. Like, you are trying to do another person, and she's not there. Like, let me go. I know what I'm getting at.
That's what I kept thinking whenever those people were at the kiosk. I'm like, I know what I want.
Yeah. Well, that's what sets you up. You are, like, I will say, as much as you, like, it's because you are a very considerate person of other people. Mm-hmm. And sometimes what gets you in trouble is you think that everyone's consideration looks the same as yours.
Yeah.
Would you say that's fair to say?
Yes.
That if somebody doesn't jump off the sidewalk because somebody was jogging, you go, wait a minute.
No, that's not true. I think if you don't even get over a little bit, it's rude.
That is true.
If I don't expect people to get out of my way.
I am actually with you on the three widers.
And I also am no longer moving out of people who are young teenagers and whatnot way.
Yeah.
You're young, you move, I'm already here.
I think that's
I'll
fair.
move out from somebody who's like an elderly person.
Right. Yeah, there's levels to it. If you're older than me, I'm jumping out of your way. I would see, and that's that expectation where we go like, I don't know, like I thought you had to get. I'm such a people pleaser that when I go to these fast casual places, my opening line, I'm here to buy stuff from you, is, hey, sorry, may I please get, I start with an apology.
I'm constantly telling you to stop apologizing for existing. And
I know.
It's really the same. In my head, I am that too, where I'm like.
Yesterday, I was in line at the place. I said sorry. There was 4 people in the place. I said sorry 6 times.
That's crazy.
I said, and if I'm being honest, I know one of them was my foot bumped a door, what turned out to be a door. I before I even turned, I said sorry. So I know definitively one of them was an inanimate object. I said, there are 4 people in here and you've apologized 6 times. This is a problem, man. This is a problem. You've done nothing wrong.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, you have done absolutely nothing wrong. It's crazy. You need to chill out. Talking about that intersection where I go, you got to calm that down, dude.
Oh my goodness. Our brains are so.
Yeah, you're okay. You're okay. But that right there is why I love comedy. Because you could just sit in your car and go, what was that? But I almost go, that's pretty funny.
Bring it on, baby.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Like sometimes we'll go, hey, just get, let it be funny.
What do you think in comedy, what do you think you are best at?
The 2 biggest strengths that I have is, one, I'm a bit of a jack of all trades, meaning I can be high energy, I can be straight man. I think initially I'm strongest at straight manning, but I can be silly and do the other stuff. So I think I can just hit a lot of different types of comedy. And I think that kind of stems from thinking on my feet would probably be my biggest thing. Like if I don't have anything, I still have a lot.
Right.
Yes. I remember one of the nicest compliments I got was from a guy that I knew from the LA comedy scene. It was after a show. I did an improv show, and somehow in the show I was on stage with people, but then I was on stage just by myself. And I remember like we were leaving and we were walking down the street, and he was like, "Man, you do the best I've ever seen with like nothing." And he goes, "I hope you don't take offense to that." I think he was like afraid I'd be like, "Oh, what you do is nothing," or you don't ever. But he was like, I was like, "No, I think that's rad, actually." Especially in improv, it's like good. I would love for that to be kind of the vibe. It's like, yeah, he'll figure something out. I would say that's probably my biggest. What about you? Like, what do you think your biggest, strength in comedy is?
I'm finishing salt.
You are.
Yeah. I think I'm
in the best way. I mean,
yeah. I think I'm good at counterpunching, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm editing, I'm good at finding the button.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are really good. I remember when we first made a movie, we had never made anything. We just made a whole feature. Like, because really what you don't know, like anybody that had been to anything, film school, done it, they'd be like, oh, you start with shorts. We just made a full feature. Just boom. Everybody we know, get in here. We're making a full feature in the dead of summer in Florida. Like we're doing it. And this is back in the day when you had to play an hour-and-a-half long tape. Every one of those tapes onto the computer. And then you had to manually sync all this. And then you had to edit. I remember I took the first crack. I was like, oh, it'll edit. It's out of sync. It makes no sense. It's just so long. It wasn't a strength. And you just had these flawless edits and you'd put these buttons on jokes with it. And I was like, man, she just right out of the gate, like just had such a good eye and ear, truffle pig nose, like whatever it was, like for those things. And I go, that is, sometimes you do stuff comedically that is so far outside my thing. Like, this is going to sound so dumb, but like today you posted a clip and like the caption for the little, we kind of call it clip farming, like, this episode, we got to get you hopefully to check it out. Here's some small clips from it. Some of your like captions on it are terribly funny. I'm not funny in that way.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think you can be. Yeah, I think you are.
But it isn't how I like to be funny. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you're so good at it. And I go, that's awesome.
Yeah, like, thank you.
When our powers combined.
Yeah. You have to me, and I think probably a lot of people who know you, you're the funniest person on earth. I just can't. I mean, I've gone really, can't.
Well, if nothing else, I know I have killed you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've killed my wife.
Yeah. No, I super appreciate that. I cannot live up to it, but it is great to have one person that really believes that about you. Like, I would recommend everybody have one person who believes in them as much as I believe in you and you believe in me.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, I really do. I'm so thrilled to be doing this. And I also want to give you a lot of credit. I really am very proud of you because this is the first time we've ever done something where you're in front. And I know that is not a place that you love being. Mm-hmm. You like being behind, controlling your minions, making us dance and do what you like for your amusement, going cut or action or whatever. And here you are out slumming it with the rest of us meat potatoes, like crew, like little meatballs, meat puppets. Thank you. See, she's like, meat puppets. Say it again.
Take it. Take it again.
Take it again from one, like us little meat puppets out there dancing around like you're a little human marionette dolls.
London and Gary on the show Group Therapy, we're talking about gratitude is, I think, the antidote to comparison. And I do think you and I are pretty good at that.
Try to be.
I think we have a lot of gratitude for our life.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, I'd be lying. I think you'd be lying if you're like, I never compare. It's like, compare. Yeah. I mean, we live in a very comparison-based life at this point. You know what I mean? It used to be you're keeping up with the Joneses. Now you're keeping up with everybody, the world over. And they're putting on airs. It used to be, at least the Joneses had to have the Cadillac, right? They didn't go to a Cadillac dealership, make it seem like they had it, convince a bunch of people they had a thing they didn't have. And then you're like, should I have more? Mm-hmm. But even that, I think like humor is also a really nice thing because you go, well, that's what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think that there's anything for me to be worked up about that they bothered to go act like they're on a plane. I think that's weird. I'm going to say that's weird. But I do believe that, like, when in doubt, like, just find something. It's almost like whenever you're like, as somebody who has anxiety, and they're like, if you're having a panic attack, find something, find objects in the room to kind of ground yourself. I think if you're feeling a lack of, kind of appreciation for your life, it's almost like emotionally ground yourself. Just find something. There's got to be something.
Turn on some music and
something. Yeah, like I hope I didn't already mention this, but they said like if you listen to like 5 songs a day, it's just so good for your overall well-being. Mm-hmm. And it made me happy because we listen to a lot of music, and most people do. I think I don't know, man. I love creativity. I love arts, like just anything. I'm like, I'd rather watch a bad comedy than no comedy at all.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. I'll support anybody's stuff. I watch stand-ups that I don't really care for. I'll watch movies that I don't think are that funny because I go, make them. Mm-hmm. It may not be for me. Mm-hmm. That's another thing you kind of learn as you get older. I go, I used to be like I said, turn my nose up like prop comedy, and I go, it ain't for you. Mm-hmm. Right. That's the thrill of it as somebody who wants to make it. And that's the thrill of it as somebody who wants to watch it, is like, you can find what is for you and you can find people who like what you do. Mm-hmm. Just give it enough time. Let the dough rise. Mm-hmm. The days they're not real. Mm-hmm. You're creating that. Like every time we like write scripts and stuff and we're like, do you think they'll like it? And it's like, who? What are you talking about?
They.
Yeah.
Who's they? Oh.
Yeah. You start to realize, like, unfortunately, the voice you hear in your head when you're questioning yourself knows you like none other. Mm-hmm. And the same kid who came up battling, doing the dozens, and is that's me, and he knows me inside and out. So guess who can really like pick you apart and make you feel like your shortcomings are only even as we're doing this. Like if I'm being like just in the effort of like full like vulnerability in this episode about mental health and comedy and everything, the fact that we have talked about ourselves in this way for this length of time, the entire time I have been battling the fact of like, who cares?
Yeah.
They're gonna hate it. You know what I mean? They are gonna just absolutely be like, get them off the web. You know, and I'm like, who? If somebody doesn't like it, they'll simply turn it off.
Mm-hmm. I think that is why Mel Robbins resonates with so many people, and I like her so much too. Is just let them, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Like our big motto is like, there is no they. Permission to suck. You know, it's like you just give yourself, like, nobody cares. Like, in the best way, nobody cares. Right. And anybody who is overly critical of you, if you take one more step back, it's like they're probably just pretty unhappy. Right?
Any more thoughts, feelings, jokes about this topic right now?
Right now, no, but probably an infinite amount over the course of this.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess my final thought on that is, one of the questions that you were going to ask is like, why do you think it hasn't gone all the way? And just briefly, I will say, like, I have over the years, like, put things down, like did stand up for a long time, then switched and wrote scripts and made stuff, and then went to improv, and then went to the, you know, moving around, kind of switching. And I have honestly no regrets, because I got to do a lot of cool stuff doing that. But I also think like fear of failure was probably the biggest thing that led to failure. Like just that little, like, just go in and do it. Like, just take the opportunity. One time I went through and I was just clearing out like old Facebook Messenger messages. And it was a lot of me like figuring out ways to politely say no to shows. And I go, well, I wonder, you know, with distance, I was like, why? And then I go, I probably just was very worried that I wouldn't do well, you know, that it wouldn't go good or something, you know. And one thing that really excites me for this, and I'm very happy to be doing it with you, is I'm just like, we just kind of agreed, like, we're just going to do this forever. Like, get on the bus. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to be here forever. And we won't always make it like this. It won't always be sappy, you know, talking about this stuff. It'll mostly be light and fun and everything. But we're just going to go till forever. I love you.
I love you.
We didn't hit record. We didn't hit record.